DCA adventure is rated F for fucking awesome.
Yo, Crypto Nation! It is another FA Friday coming right back at you. We got Crypto Miguel here. Yo, we got
Rolling
Chris.
in.
We got Gundy, who's kind of half here, kind of half not here still. And then myself, Nemesis. What's up, everybody? As you all
I'm
start
so happy we're
rolling
live
on-
streaming on the correct channel right now.
Oh, yeah. I had the wrong stream key plugged in for a few seconds.
to say hi to Brian's channel for a second.
Yeah. So if you guys were over there, you can leave it a thumbs up. There will be content coming up this Sunday. This Sunday on Crypto and Hot Rods.
Sunday.
There will be
Sunday.
these two ginormous boxes that will be getting opened up, and you want to stay tuned for it. Yo! Shameless shill. I know. Shameless.
And John Germain's like, and the sound works too.
Right? I know. Bro, man, you would not believe. Windows
It took him
doesn't
going live on a different channel for that to work, right?
Bro, it's like Windows does an update and all your audio is jacked on every freaking thing that you have on there. You're like, what changed? Why did you change?
Dude, speaking of updates, my phone decided, hey, we need to update the user interface twice today. And don't forget, there's a third one coming
twice?
up. Yeah, it updated twice, and
Tech
there's
is
another
hard.
one
Thanks.
scheduled for like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, why do I have to have 3 updates on my phone? What the hell is going on? But
Because the
whatever.
update that they sent first was the update, and then they realized that it was broken, so they sent a fix, and then they realized that the fix didn't fix the fix, so they had to send a hot fix.
No. You see, it fixed it fixed it for your initial problem, but it broke something entirely brand new. And then they had to do an emergency hot fix on that because that was a security problem.
So yeah, tech, abounds over here. It's like in the real world.
Yes, Windows. We see a new sound source. Do you want to switch? No, too bad.
Right, exactly. It's like we already did that for you. We're wondering if you wanted to switch back. You're like, oh no.
Oh, you wanna go back? Oh yeah, we can't do that. Unplug and replug back in.
Right. Like, oh god.
Fucking
Plus
Windows.
it.
I love it.
I know.
I love to hate it.
It's like if it wasn't for the manual aspect of Linux, I would be a hardcore Linux user. But the absolute manual aspect of it, because it just works better when you do it that way.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have an issue with.
Yeah, I use it that way too. I input my own key. I don't like sign OBS into anything. So, which is like kind of cool because my buddy does, right? The guy that I play Dungeons and Dragons with.
Nice.
He streams like painting miniatures, and he uses his like OBS through, like his YouTube through OBS, and it like pops up the chat like in his OBS now, like so he can see his chat inside OBS. He doesn't have to have like another window open. Like it's just already there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
That's
it's
some
kind of
of
nice.
That's some of the feature that
But you gotta log in to get those features. I don't want to do that, so
right.
I'll just open
Yeah.
another window.
Because it uses the
What's
same
another tab?
back end as what is it? Streamlabs.
Other way around. Streamlabs uses OBS's backend.
Yeah.
Well, no, they were using like something that's being utilized from them and able to overlay it directly onto OBS.
It's just like another window. You could grab it if you wanted to manually.
right.
Like you can
and that's
set
how
a source
I've seen
for it,
done. Yeah.
but you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to do that now. It just does it for you. but you can also like get rid of it. So, I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's interesting if you want to like have less windows.
I kind of like having all my windows open. It causes me blue screens.
I know you do. You like to risk it for the biscuit, bro.
I know he
Like,
opens
how
up
many
one
tabs and windows can I open up today
he
before
opens
my
up
computer
one
goes,
prawn,
meh.
right?
Oh
It's
no,
like,
Gundy, you're falling into the void. The DCA void. Come back to the center.
What up?
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
How's it going, everybody? Sorry I'm late.
You're so tiny. You're so
I
tiny.
shrunk in the wash. I told my wife not to wash it on dry it on high, but look what happened.
I got the miner on, but it's not working yet.
How's everyone's Friday?
It's been
It's
eventful.
Friday. Yeah, it is. It's
That's
been
good.
very. It's
That's
been an
good.
eventful Friday. Yeah, it's been interesting, that's for sure.
It's been very eventful. I got into a wrestling match with some dogs today.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like
Bro.
trying to bite you, or
Yeah, like that's actually a bite mark right there.
oh no,
Yeah.
Bro,
you sending them to the
what
glue
the fuck?
factory?
No, they're not going to the glue factory.
Oh,
Why not?
Because they
I'm
get
just kidding.
along
You don't have to answer
until
that
they have a
question.
disagreement.
yeah, no, it's,
Or
You don't
play-
have to answer that question on live
if
stream.
the play gets too far.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, so we got them separated,
I plead.
and then
I plead the fifth.
just implement more dog training.
That's fucking wild.
I'm
Are they
big-
like personal?
Like,
You know the dogs? Like,
yeah, they're
or a dog?
yeah, they're
Like you
they're
know
my
it?
dogs.
Oh, they're your dogs.
Well,
Uh,
they're the wife's dogs,
uh,
but I'm the one that's training them.
Quid pro quo, baby.
Yeah, so I'm having a interesting learning experience
clean
with
up the
the dog training, manuals, videos, and stuff like that. And a lot of the training is working. Like we've had like 3 days of peace, and the wife decided, hey, let's let the dogs in.
it was peace until that moment.
Worst decision ever.
And it was at that moment that he knew
He fucked.
he fucked up.
Yep.
But yeah, right now they're separated. I've gone ahead and implemented more of the training. I mean, what do you do with a dog that thinks that it's the alpha? Show that it's not.
Well, you either have to stomp it out, or you have to. I mean, in all honesty,
you
like,
gotta assert dominance. I don't know
these-
what you mean.
I've seen these
There's only
little
one
Chihuahua
option here,
things
Chris.
thinking they're alphas. Like,
Hey,
it's-
what
it's
does
very
that
thing.
that one Mexican guy do, man? He's like that dog whisperer, dude.
Yeah.
They just go, "Ups."
Right? You gotta
Well, so I've watched
you
a few
jab
of
them
his
with two
videos.
fingers right in the side of their throat and input dominancy, and you have to make that noise. That.
Just establish your dominance.
It's like speaking of like hitting them. Have you seen like those videos of like the dude that like does chiropractic to animals?
Yes,
And he goes
I've
and
seen
like
those as
pops
well.
those like cats' backs,
Yeah,
bro.
that was
Like,
weird.
bro,
So
like
The dogs
the
have a
noise,
crazier reaction.
the noise that come from those little animals. You're like,
Yeah.
and like you're like, oh my gosh, are
You
they
think
all
it's
right?
like paralyzed.
And, like, he
then,
goes
gets up
to,
and
like-
runs around.
Cracks the cat's neck and like goes like this, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill that fucking cat.
Yeah, wring its neck, right?
Like, and you hear it like snap, and you're like,
Yeah.
is that cat gonna move next, or like,
Yeah.
did we just witness a cat die?
Right.
Have you ever
And the
had
cat's just
adjustment?
like, oh.
You ever been to a chiropractor?
Yes.
I have.
Yeah,
Oh, they're
Never, not once.
they're
I need to
amazing.
like badly,
They're
but
pretty sweet, but usually if you don't like keep it up, like
well,
you-
the
body
one
takes
time that
over.
I was over at Mikkel's house, he's like, "Oh man, my shoulder's killing me," and I'm like, "I'll stand
Yeah.
up. I got you."
yeah,
This is exactly how my chiropractor did me. Right? He's like, "Put your hand on your hip," and I'm like, "Okay." No. He's like, "Put your hand on your hip," and he grabs my elbow and puts his palm of his hand on my shoulder, and he
Yeah.
pulls forward with my elbow, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Now resist me pulling towards me with your elbow," and I was like, "Okay." Pop. I'm like, "Oh."
like it
Oh,
happened like that.
almost the same reaction that Mikkel had. He was like, Oh, but his
Like,
but he's
oh.
like the next day he was like much better.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that stuff was like, I mean, your shoulder can only go out in a couple of directions, and I know that from football.
Yeah, that's right.
See,
It pops in or it pops out.
I tend to just like pop my own. You
Yeah.
know,
Sometimes you
I'll-
can.
I'll-
If
I'll
it
put my-
goes down, it's easy to relocate.
It's hard to get the angle.
But when
to
it goes forward, it's hard to relocate.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, I have. I was going to a chiropractor for like 2 years,
What
and
up,
then
Rude?
I haven't been able to go back for a year, and it's painfully obvious. I'm starting to have numbness coming down my arm again.
Oh, geez.
Like,
You're getting
well,
old, bro.
the first time it was happening, I found out that I had
Hey
degenerative
man,
discs.
I'll tell you this
but-
right now, man. Amazon Basics, an 8-inch foam roller. You should DCA into that.
I've got the-
I
I've
did
got
it.
the
I
foam
went
roller.
there, guys.
You have the 8-inch though.
Yeah, the 8-inch,
when it
dude.
first happened, I didn't
He
have the
likes some
foam roller.
hooch.
So what I ended up doing was
no,
I had
you
my
can sit there and
kids
roll on it in your back
walk
like a
on my
rope, man.
back. I had the kids walk on my back because they were small enough, and
Yeah,
it just
that's
it
great,
just
man.
it just helped
The
push
little
things.
Great.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, yeah.
great
Down.
when they're
So
that small.
here, hold on. I got it. Like this is how much I'm serious. I'm religious about this thing.
Oh, geez.
He's gonna go get his roller. I'm not getting mine. It's in the other room. I'm not getting up.
A foam roller.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
You use
And you
this,
can-
and
you can bludgeon
basically I
yourself
put it
with
on my. I lay it.
You can
Put it on the
bludgeon
ground and I lay it on my back, and I use it as like a
It's a
rolling
foam roller
pin
with a
on my back.
PVC pipe in the middle.
You don't lay it on your back. You lay it on the
Fuck
ground and you
you
lay
Yeah, I
down
lay it on my
on
back,
it.
and I lay on my back. I lay on my back on top of it.
promise
and
you, it's
use
not
it
gonna
like a
tickle
rolling
when it
pin.
cracks you across the skull.
Oh, and it's like it does wonderful things. Like, yes, in all the
It
right
does do
ways.
it does do a great job at what it does. It still doesn't do everything.
I've it's actually since my chiropractor's like, yeah, you should get this. I don't see him too much anymore.
Yeah.
Because like I can pretty much do a lot of the major manipulations with it. It's just like he's like, yeah, you find a little muscle and you just use that and you just kind of lay into it for a while. It's like, really? He's like, yeah, you just get
working out,
you
baby.
just work that knot out of it.
Work the kinks, baby.
And
Work 'em.
here I'm like sitting there doing
Work
that,
out
and
the
I'm like
kinks.
working the kinks out, and you just feel the muscle line relax, and the next thing you feel is a little pop. And you're like, oh yeah,
And then-
that was it. And it was just because the muscle finally relaxed and allowed
Yeah.
the vertebrae to pop back into place. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead.
One of my
I'm
favorite
gonna lay right
things
here
to
for a
do
second.
was to medicate like the day before, and then the next day I was coming down, but my body was completely relaxed when I went to go see my chiropractor, and he got pops that haven't popped since
Yeah.
fucking forever.
That's
I've
like
never done the
God.
Like a
chiropractor
deep
thing,
tissue
but have y'all
massage
done like
is
the
online,
like
yeah.
the floating, like the float stuff?
No, but I wanted to.
Float?
That's nice. Yeah, like
Yeah, I'm
float, like
thinking
you're
pools.
basically laying in like salt water. Yes, you're laying in like salt water. It's like it's so salty that like you're buoyant. You
That's
float.
good though.
Do
Your
you
body
do
is
like,
it in the
what do
isolation
they call
chamber?
the deprivation tanks.
Deprivation tanks.
Yeah,
Yep.
like- It's a complete darkness. Like
You trip in there. It's like a sober.
dude, it
trip.
is.
You
It
will
is the
hear
most
your heartbeat.
It is the most. Yes, you will.
Yeah.
It is the most fantastic experience. That's one of my favorite things. That I do go do because those are so nice. So nice.
Yeah, I've
Dude, you come
wanted
out
to do
feeling like
that.
$1 million. You
I
just
like
there
the
and
sauna.
lay in the
Sauna
water.
is nice. You got a gym that has one,
Yep.
but
And then you get the option, to put on your boxers, your swim trunks, or lay butterball naked. You just lay butterball naked.
dude, listen, yeah.
You're the only one in the
Public gym
chamber, of
free
course.
balling,
Why would you
no
wear
thanks.
anything else?
Like that's
Not
why I
even
wear my
silly.
shorts in there because I don't want to touch somebody else's ball sweat.
Someone's-
Whoa, that ball
Like, bro.
sweat's still in the water, dude.
I mean,
it's
It's
getting
no
filtered
different than
out
getting in a hot
regardless.
tub. Everybody's
not-
just teabagging their asses.
it's not a steam room;
It's-
it's a sauna. Different.
It gets filtered out regardless. You know what I mean? Like it's filtered after every use.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Yeah. You know,
You're good.
that big guy
good.
you noticed at the gym
But
in that seat the other
regardless, it's
Brown
it's
stuff.
nice. Brown stuff.
Oh, good.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Brown chicken, brown cow. Wow. Willy, 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 wow. So, everybody enjoying the warm weather we're having? Like it was like 71, dude.
It's
Like,
a little bit warmer. You know, I'm not as
Blame
bundled up.
California with their warm ass water that they're going to now blame on global warming.
Yeah, global
It's
warming.
just warm water. It happens every so often.
Yeah, you know, we just had a frozen Arctic tundra of like 14 for like 2 weeks, but you know, global warming, right?
Yep.
Yeah, things like just started like unfreezing.
Oh, you can't say global warming anymore. You gotta say climate change, man.
Oh Lord, fuck that.
Climate change, bro.
Global climate change.
They changed
Earthquakes. Yes.
Man,
always
I
earthquakes, so-
loved it whenever NASA responded to the whole climate change stuff, and they're like, "Yes, climate change does happen."
What do you
4
mean?
times
Not a
a
space
year.
agency?
I was like, "Yes, burn."
You talking about not a space agency again?
Yeah. But they actually laid out a burn, dude. I was like, "Wow, look at them. They're not woke yet."
Yeah. Oh. Give them a couple more years, you know.
Right? They haven't been fully infiltrated. It must be something about needing the brightest and best minds.
Y'all
and
too,
you-
Sadie? Dude, it's been extremely foggy here. It
Oh
says
my
foggy
God,
in Central Texas, dude. It was
super
so
Not
foggy.
foggy, dude.
They're,
The
there's-
other
they're
day,
probably
like
smoke
going to
bombs.
work, it was super foggy.
Yeah, it was wild. We were driving what was it? Thursday to take my mom to her doctor's appointment. She's having like some dental work done, so they're putting her under. So I was driving in there, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, bro, and like you couldn't see jack
Couldn't see.
shit.
Yeah, you're going
Like
10 miles an hour.
nothing.
You can't see.
You're like, wow.
It's like
And
driving
like
in a
you're on like the
dust storm.
turnpike, so it's like 80 miles per hour, and you're just like
20.
you're just like YOLO, like
Yeah.
I don't know what
Flashers
to
on,
say.
just hoping someone will see you before they hit you.
Pretty much, you're just kind of like rolling, and you're just like,
I watched a clip online. It was some foreign country, I don't remember, but it looked like fog, but the dude was mistaking it for fog. It was actually a gas leak, and it ignited. It was like a pretty fun thing to watch.
Whoa.
It was
I'm
like a
sure it was
fire
fun
wave.
to
It was
watch. So long as nothing
What's up,
burned.
James? that's
Be
wild,
careful,
man.
yo.
Yeah.
They're fogging.
Yeah,
you.
fog was always fun to drive in, sure, but if you ever drive in a sandstorm, don't.
Nope.
Don't.
Can't say I've had the privilege of that.
I was
I
driving
don't
the.
know.
I remember
You ever
driving
drove in
the
a
ambulance
hailstorm before?
in
With,
like,
Yeah, hail's fun.
dude. Okay,
with,
growing up
like,
in North
the
Carolina,
car's
we would
gonna
actually buy
with, like,
vehicles
huge,
during
like,
hurricanes, and
freaking
Try 1
golf
inch
ball sized-
raindrops going down the highway on a motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
bro
On the
I was
highway.
driving,
65
I was
miles an
driving
hour on the
80 I
highway
was
with a
driving
1 inch
80 on the
raindrop,
highway.
dude.
and it started hailing with like golf ball size hail, bro, in Oklahoma. And
Yeah.
dude, car totaled immediately.
Oh yeah.
Like massive, just shatter out the windshield. Like, dude, it is
on your grill, and she
terrifying.
like hit it.
no,
with a
we
hammer
never
that
had the
many
golf
times.
ball size ones,
Bro.
but like the size of like marbles. We had
Bro.
those
The
every
big-
time that we actually drove home from the car dealership. You know, the
The
tornadoes that
biggest
spun off the hurricane would
size-
start spitting out hail.
The
Bro.
biggest size
We'll
hail.
have softball size hail.
Yeah,
here.
the biggest
Like a mine.
size hail that I've ever seen in my area is Chicagoland area. It might be a little bigger the further south you go, but I've seen just under softball size.
Yeah.
On average, when we get
Very hard to get bigger than
bad hail, it's around between a golf ball to a baseball. On average,
Yeah.
occasionally we get bigger ones, but yeah,
You like
I-
ping
erratic.
pong to like
Yeah.
golf ball size hail. And then
Yeah,
you
we're
know,
about
like,
golf ball
but-
usually too. Or where I'm at.
but man, when you get those like softball size hail,
oh
man,
my god, dude!
dude, that
Brick
destroys
through the sky.
everything. That destroys everything.
Oh,
it
yeah.
hits. Like, roofs, cars, like
Yep.
nothing, like your dome, like you're dead.
Oh, God. Could you imagine?
So I remember one
Yeah,
time.
man, I could imagine.
I
We've
remember
had like
one
stories
time
about
There
it.
you go, bro.
People
we
walking
knew that
out
this,
and getting hit by it, and then just like they drop, and then you just keep getting pulverized by it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't stop.
You look worse than one of Lucille's victims in The Walking Dead.
oh,
Like, jeez, like couldn't imagine just like
yeah, the word, like one of the
pulverized to
times,
death
like
by
I remember
softball-sized hail.
we knew the storm was coming in. They were predicting hail, so we ran out with thick bed sheets and stuff like that, blankets and stuff, covering the car,
Lay it over the windows,
laid it
man.
over everything. After the storm, like in the morning, there was still like baseball size hail, like still melting in the grass and stuff. I was like, oh my Lord. You see all these cars, cracked windows. We peel back going, please, please, please.
Yeah.
We had like
Did it-
4 or 5 dents on the top of the car. That was it.
Oh, the top's the worst part to get them to, you know.
And we covered it. It could have been worse, probably. You know,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
covered it with cardboard and blankets.
Yeah, we blankets,
Yeah.
bedding, whatever we could cover the car with. We were
Yeah.
trying, and it was just the very
Just
top
the
of
blankets
the car.
over the
Hood was
windshields
fine.
would help.
There
What
wasn't a
helps a
single
lot.
dink in the hood.
Yeah, because
Wow.
the front glass is gonna withstand pretty good sized rock chunks anyway. You know, I've hit a
Mhm.
rock, like I swear dented my windshield, but like it was good. So
Dented
I
my
figured you'd have the
windshield.
best protection if you did like blanket, cardboard, blanket, cardboard, blanket.
I mean,
Yeah,
layers,
because you-
layers, bro. You know.
Anyway, and like you just start laying out whatever you got on hand.
Hey, James.
Well,
you-
think about the cardboard
heard that,
construction
bro.
itself. It has
Plastic
those
boxes.
waves of, you know,
I'm from
in between those
Oklahoma,
layers,
James,
so
so
it acts like a
I know that.
James, like I'm in the
Velocity
Midwest.
summit.
When they say tornado, they all
Nader.
go out onto the porch and watch.
Ralph Nader.
yes, yes.
Those are
that's what we
facts,
did.
my dude.
That's what
those are
we
facts.
did.
We know
Dude,
when
I
it's
saw a
time to go
video the other
inside.
day. Somebody was saying, "Hey, Dad, you want to tell a story about how Buffy the Vampire saved our entire family?" He's like, "Well, yeah. There was a tornado coming, and Buffy was coming on, and I wasn't gonna miss my show, so y'all all went down to the storm cellar. I stayed in the dadgum house to watch Buffy. When the show ended, storm was over, and I went to look for you guys, and I couldn't find nobody. It wasn't until I went outside, heard you guys screaming and yelling because a tree fell on top of the storm cellar.
Oh,
So thank
That's
you,
like-
Sarah Michelle Gellar, for saving our
that's
lives."
some that's some intervention stuff from God himself. You know.
Right?
Thanks, man.
Jeez. Can you imagine? Like
Yeah,
you know,
starving
to
to death
area, nowhere
underground?
looking for you.
Oh yeah, dude, it's happened here.
Yeah.
It's happened here, man. It was a big thing for a while. They were putting storm shelters like in your garages, and then
But only
they
one entry.
started
one exit, right?
realizing it's right, only one way in.
Yeah,
And if your
that's-
house caves in, your house caves in on top of you, you're not getting out. Like
No, especially if the door opens outwards. You know, maybe
it's
if you set up
poor
the
design.
door to open inwards, maybe.
Most of them like slide, but they like lock and slide. But like if everything's on top of it, like it's not moving. And then like, what are you gonna do when you get it open? You're not moving the house
Yeah.
or a car. Like, bro, like
Dead bodies.
terrible design. Now we have a bunch of them that you see that are around here that are like above ground,
Like one
So
entry,
they're
one
like-
exit on each side. Yeah. Just in
and they're
case.
just like a big concrete box on like outside, not like the traditional like in the ground ones.
Oh, like
but,
your one neighbor.
Just and they're just kind of and they're just kind of like a door that you like open, like if you're walking into like
a house kind of thing.
a room, yeah, and it's
Okay.
just like
He's
concrete
got
on
his
all
own little
sides.
ventilation in there and everything.
It's wild, you know what I mean? Like it's really cool.
Throw some dirt along the sides, put a nice little hill, put a round door, and all of a sudden you got a hobbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Pretty
Heine.
much.
It's cool, man. But yeah, that
What do
was a
they
big
do
thing for a
about,
while.
like,
They stopped doing
like
those.
what about my question's always been with those particular style. Water.
Hobbit hole?
Water and where do
How
you
does
poop?
it deal with the water
Where to
coming
poop at?
in?
I mean, you don't. know.
They're just a big
So
cat.
That's
it-
why they don't. That's why they don't
So
make.
we-
Like,
we
that's why they
actually
try to
had
stay away
a-
from those now.
We had a bomb shelter at
Well,
the
even
house
even
that I
like the
grew
one
up
like
at.
your neighbors, where it's like kind of above ground a little bit.
Yeah, the
like,
ones
I
I'm
know
talking
it's
about
still
that are
going
like
down
fully
into
above
the
ground
ground.
now, like they're like a full, like it's like a freaking like a shed, but it's made out of like 4-inch thick concrete.
Holy crap!
Like, you know what I mean? Like dude,
Bunker.
it's like it's like a bunker.
It'll take a couple shells,
You know what I mean? Like,
couple mortar rounds.
that's what they promote now, because it's you can open the door out.
Well,
So
then
like
people should
therefore
have
it's
YouTube.
less
Like how long it'll
difficult to
take
like get in.
to it. And how much ammo?
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
I've always seen, like the typical,
But yeah, those
your
flood.
root cellar. Your root cellar was your storm cellar.
Yeah, if the foundations start cracking and those are like the sides start cracking, like they'll bring in water.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it'll crumble inside too on you.
Yep. Yeah.
And if there's not a decent enough
Well,
seal on
it's
the
like
outside,
where, especially where
Well, they're solid.
Mikkel's
They're
at,
solid
so-
concrete. Like they're one piece of concrete. They're not like joined together. Like it's a solid piece of concrete that they put in the ground. But if
Wow.
it cracks down the side, like you're letting moisture and the water is coming in. Like the water's coming in, the water's coming in. Like you're not stopping that.
I saw a it was a canvas tent that had cement mixed into the canvas that you water it down and then you blow it up like a blow up, tent.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Like a bouncy house. And you bury that son
Like
of a
a
gun,
concrete
and it
bottom?
looks like a dadgum military hospital on the inside, all
Yeah,
nice,
it's like a-
clean.
it's like a
and-
dome.
Concrete bottom so it didn't fly away or what?
Mhm.
Oh, that's crazy.
No, they're like actual shelters. Like they're quick.
Meant to go
building
permanently,
permanent
right?
shelters.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
The ones he's talking about, yeah. Yeah, the ones that they like build for here, like they dig like a 6-foot hole in it, or like,
That's a very shallow hole
Kong.
for a bunker.
and then you're not going underneath it. Like
Well,
it's just
yeah.
attached 6 foot under. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So that way you're not can't tip.
Gotcha. That's the part of the foundation.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Put that shit in the ground, boy.
Very
Put it
expensive as
down.
shit.
See, that's the one. That's one of the things about underground shelters is like you gotta think about the water.
And air
Oh,
too.
well, water, and then your
Especially
region,
underground.
because like
You don't have good
Mikkel, do
ventilation.
you still get
Make 'em dead.
the fracking earthquakes?
I mean, sure.
Every
I mean,
once
I'm
in-
sure
every
we. I'm
once in
sure
a-
we do. I'm sure we do. It's just kind of like I don't feel them.
Right.
You just
But-
kind of got numb to it.
Probably.
Yeah.
I've lived here for 32 years at this point, so I'm probably used to the vibrations.
Right.
Oh, that's right. You're no longer in your 20s. Holy shit.
So you
I'm not. man.
you got and it's
Been
like
chilling in my 30s for a few
there,
years. Now.
there's certain areas out by him that are very sandy versus other areas,
Yeah.
and like I
They've been
can't
drilling for a lot
imagine
more
like
oil here
underground
recently.
bunkers in his area.
No,
really,
no. We
really
don't
surviving
dig.
long term.
No, we don't dig down here.
Right.
Like we don't do cellars. We don't do things like that.
Yeah.
Because we don't have like this most stable. Like our ground moves too much. That makes sense. So therefore, we don't do like anything like that.
Alright.
Right.
Like, I've been to some cool
You get too
houses
close
like
to
up
the
in the
coast,
north, and they're like
No basements.
this lavish like underground basements, and you're just like a whole nother
Yeah,
house.
so
in here. Like,
nice,
this
right?
is,
You're
I
like-
was like, this is
See,
legit, dude. I
Like
want
doubles
this.
your
And then I'm
square
like,
footage house.
and I'm like, oh, I live in Oklahoma. We can't have this.
See, I wouldn't mind having
Whatever.
a house like on the mountain somewhere with lots of land, but also build the house right on top of the bat cave.
You know, like
build it into like the
I wish.
south side facing of the biggest hill on your property.
There you go. Get some solar.
Yeah, I gotta go
Right.
like more. You find that like more like northern Oklahoma, like way up north,
Yeah.
like almost in a different state, where the ground's a lot harder.
Oakley, Moma.
Yeah, where actually it starts turning into like these rolling little.
He says we
hills.
grow rocks in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, where I live, it's mostly clay and shale. It's terrible.
We grow
If
rocks.
you're gonna go
yeah.
down, you got to blast and like get a bunch of crews to come out and dig that crazy
Yeah,
rock
we grow dirt and clay here.
out. Yeah.
Bunch of
I
red
was
dirt
seeing,
here.
I saw on like the it was either Instagram or TikTok. It was like boys being boys, and there's like a whole bunch of videos of guys just pushing
being boys, that's
boulders
not
off
normal.
of fucking mountains, cliffs. And you just boom, just crumbling.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm just saying.
Cheering for excitement.
I mean,
Do
I
it
remember
again.
being
Do it
in
again.
North Carolina, and one of the rivers that's by my aunt's property had a nice little cliff to it. There was a certain spot that everybody would run off and jump. Apparently, there is like an underground water spring feed. So when you dive down, it was like probably about a 15-foot wide opening you were diving into. And then it opened into this like gigantic like cavern underneath there. Water as cold as ever. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
You get that 55-degree all year round cave water and shit.
So what we're doing now is like so we're all getting drunk at this point. Drinking some shine. Somebody had a great idea. Hey, we should grab these boulders when we jump. What does that
Let's
do?
grab these
Oh man, you might be able to
boulders.
touch the bottom. Oh,
Oh.
say less. Okay, I grabbed this
That's a
big old
great
boulder.
time.
I
Great
jump
time.
off the thing, and I'm like, as I started going, I'm like, and it took forever to get down to the water. You're like, God, can I get down there any faster? Man, with the boulder, man, you get down there in a hurry, dude. Wow, dude, you're like, wham, you hit the water. You're like, oh, that kind of went up the wrong hole, dude. That was a little cold. Oh, he's
That was awfully
cranking into the
forceful.
water, and you're holding on to this boulder, and then you hear your ears pop, and you're like, oh, God. And you
Yeah,
kind of
'cause-
look up, and you're like, oh, shit, I got to be able to swim back up there.
Yeah, right.
As I touch the
Digging.
ground, dude, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, am I gonna make it?
Now, how long did it take you to get back to the surface?
Forever. I almost ran out of fucking air, dude. I'm sitting here like slowly letting out
Panicking,
bubbles,
like-
dude. And I'm like, I come out of the water like when I inhaled, like I half inhaled water when I came out of the breach, dude. I'm like, dude, it was bad, dude. I was like,
Hey, we've all
oh my
done
god, that was a bad idea.
You start testing the.
Let's do it again.
Underwater
I get up there and they were like, man, how was it? I'm like, I touched bottom. But man, you gotta have a big breath of air, dude.
there.
Like I sat on the shoreline for a couple of minutes catching my breath, dude. It was bad.
Contemplating your life halfway down.
Right, dude. You have that life affirming a moment.
That was fun.
Maybe
but
it's
I don't-
time to
I'm
grow
good.
up.
I'm good, guys.
Right?
Good.
So I did it a second time.
Yeah.
I knew it.
You learn from your mistakes, and you get a big breath this time, right?
Right?
I'll grow,
I wasn't
I'll grow up
expecting.
tomorrow.
I wasn't
I'll grow up
expecting
tomorrow.
it, dude. I was like, oh god, like to
So
be
how
able to
many
go
feet
down
was it,
that
you say?
far
30?
with a rock in my hand. I was like, I was not expecting to go that fast.
Like what? 30 feet, 10 meters, something like that.
Oh god, I don't even know how deep the bottom was. None of us knew. We just knew it's a big old cavity in there.
Yeah.
And I was athletic at the time, so I mean, like, none
Yeah,
of
we
the
gotta
other
be
guys
careful
were
doing
able
that
to
shit
hit
in
the
caves,
bottom,
though,
but
man.
I was able to touch the bottom.
It's
And
sucked
but
out
yeah,
somewhere.
it was a struggle getting back up to the top. Second time, I didn't go for the bottom. I
Yeah.
let go when my ears popped.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done playing this one. Oh god.
Now, here's a question: when you touched bottom, did you let your legs come down a little bit so you could bounce off?
Oh,
Propel
yeah.
yourself off the
Like
ground?
I was like on there and I looked up.
Yeah, that was probably a mistake.
Yeah, dude. It was like you just see this like little
As soon as you
like
look up, like,
glimmer of
panic
light,
ensues.
dude. You're like,
It
oh
always looks
god,
odd, dude,
panic!
going
Dropped the boulder, kicked up, and it was like the squishiest, like muddy bottom
Oh,
sand, dude. It was
Oh,
like
you couldn't even get a good push.
no,
you
dude.
can't.
Oh
Just
god,
pull
like I
stuff
almost
at the bottom
stuck
of
in it, dude.
Should have pushed off the rock.
You know what
brought
happens
with
when
you.
you don't
Yeah.
vacuum your rocks out in the ocean? They stay shitty.
Right?
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
That's wild. John Rain says, when I was a miner underground, we had both hot and cold water running out of the ground.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
I would.
Meanwhile,
I can imagine that.
Water
Depending.
coming up from so deep.
Yeah,
That
And the
is
reason
hot.
why it's coming up is because it's, heat.
percolating.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Be wild. Be dangerous.
Makes
Means
it too
lava's
hot.
not far away.
Just need to
Right.
find some property with like a natural spring on it. You'd be good to go.
If I was gonna get property, I'd want some like running water.
Oh
And a
yeah.
Good
strip
running
of,
water.
and a good strip of it.
Drill a hole and water comes out. Dude, that'd be so
wow,
wild.
so you can,
Just to,
you can
like
make a little,
imagine like
make a little
drilling a
personal
hole.
hydro dam.
Oh yeah, you know it, bro.
Yeah. That hydro dam
Like,
is very efficient, man. Very
Yeah, it
efficient.
is.
It's like Minecraft on a whole nother level. Just you just dig in, obviously hit one block and just water comes out. Just
Right.
drilling a
Yeah.
hole.
Oh,
Just
you're
like
like, "Oh,
drilling
shit."
a hole and you're just like water
Usually
coming out
the
of the
water
hole.
stays
Like,
right
oh,
there.
well,
Why is this different?
Yeah.
there's water now coming out of this hole that I just drilled. Interesting.
Put a spigot
What
on that
happens?
stuff
What
and call it a
happens
day.
next? It can only
Oh, it's starting
it's
to
just
fill up
wild to me.
everything. Oh, I better put some containment around it.
Yeah.
Oh, it comes out with some force because it's just a little hole, and who knows how much water's behind it.
An infinite amount, possibly. If you don't use all of it all the time. Depending on, how lucky you got.
You just make sure if you're going to do something like that, you have a hydroelectric sitting right there so you can just harness the power right away.
And you get some engineers and shit to come out and like make sure you get in the good spots.
Yo, what up, Wheeling Crypto?
What
Some, like,
up?
Some earth tabulators or something.
Hard to load the dynamite. Had to use wedges to hold the stick, keeping the dynamite in the hole. Like when there was water. Oh, that's fuck that. That's sketchy as shit.
What up, Wheeling Crypto?
Blows the wedge gives way and blows the dynamite out of the hole. Yeah, solid.
Right?
You know that's definitely happened.
You're gonna have an FA time for sure.
That's why the explosive engineer guys they risk their lives down in those holes.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. The only other scarier job would probably be the guy who has to climb the 10-kilometer like towers and replace the light bulb.
Oh yeah, fuck that. No, thank you.
And have you
That
seen
or
the
deep sea welding. Deep sea welding is a good
Oh,
one.
yeah,
I've,
deep sea
I've,
welding.
I've met a guy that does deep sea welding.
I
And
almost
that's
Rapid.
wild.
Yeah.
Wild
went
experience.
and
King
did that.
crab.
I almost wanted to go do something
Mhm.
like that.
It goes down
Yeah,
like
you
the big
getting old,
pipes,
too
like the
old.
big pipe oil rigs, and goes down and like they're big pipes and
Our
fucking
time
welds them up. I'm like, I don't know, man. Out in the middle of the ocean doing that, I don't know. That's pretty
Yeah,
ballsy.
the nearest help is like an hour
Nowhere.
away by helicopter. and shit. You're like, fuck.
The nearest help is nowhere. Like you're
Yeah.
dead. Like there's
Won't die, dude. Sorry. Not sorry.
down there with sharks and
Oh,
who
yeah.
knows what else.
Those big ass, man eating squids and shit.
You know it. Just the kraken and things of that nature.
So I'm looking at like future weather already, and it's like we're getting rain tomorrow, and it's just gonna drop temperature like again.
Dude, it's been like
Going right
nonstop
back to
raining
30s.
here.
Yeah,
Non-stop
it was raining
raining
It
here.
was raining today for
Yeah,
us.
tomorrow afternoon, I think.
I got a wind advisory.
Wind.
Yep, that's it.
Well, you got to get your bird destroying wind turbines out there, man. The wildlife killing wind turbines are the greatest. Great.
Oh, nice. It's gonna be in the 30s all day tomorrow.
Woo.
Solid.
Solid.
High of
Oh my lord.
a high of 37. Our high tomorrow. It'll eventually stop raining. Sometime tomorrow morning.
So the weather app has some little news nuggets, and one that I just caught my eye was from the Associated Press. It said, "No diploma, no problem. Navy again lowers requirements as it struggles to meet recruitment goals."
Doesn't that make you feel better that they're willing to, instead of trying to pick the A
How do you
team,
lower it?
they're now having to pick the C and B, the B and C team,
Well, like high school
Plan
soccer.
A and B did not work out, so they're going for C and D's.
right? Because they're like, oh,
Guys over
the
40.
A team, they're white supremacists.
No, those guys are next. Those guys are next.
Oh, the
Over 40. Over 40's
35, over
next.
40 ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd probably take those guys anyway. They're probably harder.
Oh, you know it.
Hey man, all I have to say is wait
They're
until
saying,
the
"Fuck it,
fucking
we've
Gen X
lived a
kids
life."
fucking get
That's right.
pissed off about all this shit going on. Like we were like the last generation to play in the dirt,
Drink from a hose.
right?
And not have
Oh,
any.
man.
privilege, yeah.
We know what a
Will and
rotary
crypto.
phone is.
And, you know, get that, that blood red stuff poured on every cut.
I remember time before the internet.
Yeah.
Where
and
if you needed to find, if you had to do research, you had to go to this place called the library.
yeah. Learn the Dewey Decimal System and look up microfiche and shit. Like,
Oh my God. And then you had to like,
Shoot,
I,
I still,
you know,
I
I
still
remember
use
when they were
Superglue.
teaching that to us, and then like it wasn't but like a year or so later,
and
that
then it
the
just all
world
disappeared.
changed.
Yeah.
that the world just changed.
Yep.
Like overnight. And I was like, man, see, we didn't need that at all.
Yeah.
Man, I
Liars.
still
well,
use
wait until
Superglue
the
as,
wait until the
liquid stitches.
electricity and the internet get shut down, and the only people that know how to get information are the Gen Xers, and we're
The
gonna
people
be
that
like,
know how to use the Dewey Decimal.
The ones that you know how to use an actual paper map.
right?
Yeah, because you ain't finding the library without Google Maps,
We're like the last generation to
sorry.
actually still have maps somewhere in our house.
Dude, when I was driving when I first started driving, I had maps in the car. Like,
Yeah,
Hell
I had
yeah,
an
bro.
Atlas. Atlas.
I remember
How
that.
you got
I
around.
remember.
like, you
I
show
remember that.
kids maps these days. They can't even plot you out their route from work to
And
school.
then sometimes you'd miss
I
your
remember
your
taking
exit, and it was
trips when I was a
okay
kid.
because you could just get off at the next exit. You'll pull over and figure out where you need to go. Nowadays they call that recalculating.
Yeah, no. You're supposed to when you realize you passed.
Now
your
that's
exit, you
pull an
slam on the
immediate
brakes
U-turn.
and put it in reverse.
It's an
There-
immediate U-turn.
I'm on a 4-lane highway with the divide. How am I supposed to do an immediate U-turn?
Please do an immediate U-turn.
And it was always done in that female voice. Please do.
It's like real.
An
It's like real
emergency
stern,
U-turn.
but like, you're like, do I do it or do
Make
I
an emergency.
Oh, around
make
here
it
we
an
call that flipping a
immediate
bitch.
U-turn now.
flip it a bitch?
Oh, you gotta flip a bitch.
Yeah, I remember growing up, and I remember going on trips like when I was a young kid, and I remember like pulling the map out of the car. Like I can remember that, or using MapQuest.
Or the
Like my
Tom.
parents
Did you have
pulling
the
up
Tom?
MapQuest.
Ooh, Tom Toms. That's
Going
right.
to
Yes,
Yes.
first came
Tom-Toms.
out.
MapQuest, yeah. My parents went to the library to print out the MapQuest for the trip. That was
Yeah.
some,
That's
Yep.
that was some next world shit.
I
man.
had a folder full of maps that I printed out from
Wild.
MapQuest.
And now we got MapQuest forever in our phone,
Yep.
Right.
in the palm of our hand.
In
You
your
have so
Palm
much
Pilot?
power.
This,
You don't
this phone
know how
here
lucky you
could
are.
have gotten Neil Armstrong to the moon single-handedly.
Yeah.
And we use it
for prom.
We use it for
Right, that is called phone.
we use phone for fellatio.
Various purposes.
He would have used it to go to the moon. We
Talking about that you said
Do the
that,
dirty.
like the
Cat
doing the
videos and
dirty and
prawn.
stuff. Is it
Yeah.
your state
Yeah,
that one of the members of Congress or whatever is like proposing like some kind of weird bill about watching porn now? Is it your
No.
state that was doing that?
emphasize
they're
emphasize
gonna
on
start
who
doing
you're
it
talking about
in
your
school.
state.
Oh God,
There's
Mikkel,
4 of us here.
Mikkel.
My state. Okay. I
Yes.
was like, yeah, you can emphasize on whose state.
Oh,
Like, we
sorry.
all live in different
Mikkel.
states.
Because it
Mikkel.
ain't mine. This is liberal as fuck over here.
No, it was like something about like being like
Missionary
like a felony.
porn only.
No, a felony to watch prawn.
No.
Nothing about that.
I
don't
think
think
it's one of your like one of the people in your like
That's freedom of eyeballs, bro.
government in your state.
You take my freedom of eyeballs.
I
Is
saw that. I was
my
like,
government
it's like
still
one of
considered
those
Bible
bills that like a Christian
It is.
a Christian nutball would be like putting out, knowing that it won't ever pass. But
I mean,
it
maybe.
panders to their Christian constituents that, hey, look, I tried. I'm trying to beat the
I would-
evil
I
sin
mean-
out there.
I would look it up, man, but I don't want to pollute my search history with some shit like that.
Wheeling crypto, you blew up your Biostar Mobo?
It.
Don't do that. That doesn't sound like you're gonna have a bad time, you know. When you let the smoke out, you can't put it back in.
Yeah. you
Yeah,
can't put
magic
the
smoke
back.
doesn't go back in.
Only goes out, never in.
Holy shit, that is a legit thing, bro. As of like the 23rd. What the
What?
fuck?
What is this?
I told you,
That's some
dude.
wild shit, bro.
I told you,
Oklahoma
dude.
proposal would make watching porn a felony and ban sexting outside of
Yeah,
marriage.
I was like, isn't it your
What?
state that's like somebody's like
Oh, didn't
trying
you
to
see
propose
the,
like some weird bill?
What in the
didn't you see the
world?
T-Mobile thing where they can start like fining you for sending
Yeah.
stuff that they don't like over their network
Oh yeah.
Yep.
and impersonal texts?
Mhm.
Wow.
$500 per offense.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous, yeah. If I start getting fines, I'm just gonna start not paying. We'll see how long that
Sir,
lasts.
you have been turned
So
off
like
from the system.
anyone that runs like an OnlyFans here, like in Oklahoma, would not be allowed to do that.
That's what VPNs are for.
I mean, no, like to like make money, like people like creating content.
Oh, you mean content creators?
Yeah,
yeah,
What
like
is it?
they would no longer
Dude,
be allowed to
naked
do
on
such,
camera.
such a thing.
Naked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow, that's wild.
It like came across my news feed. I was like,
It's
what?
a $10,000 fine.
And that's
could
if it
carry
passes.
carry prison sentences for up to a year.
Yeah, if it passes.
That's wild.
Welcome.
Yeah,
to
I had no clue about
our
this.
world.
That's crazy.
It just so happened to like pop across my news feed. I was like, get the hell out of here. Wow.
The age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius.
The very bottom quote is, "What state? Oklahoma. Oklahoma's the state." According to Pornhub's annual statistics, according to this article, the viewing presence of Okies, they even announced this as Okies. So shout out to my Okies. Have become increasingly curious over the several years, is what they said.
Not
They
only
said, but
that,
they-
the kids find out
It's
that
likely that it won't
free.
pass because it violates the First Amendment rights. That's what they're saying. That's what they're trying to like
Hey,
counter it with.
I thought this was America.
Yeah, but we don't allow porn to be offered in schools. So
And they
this
said
is the
little
standpoint that-
known fact.
Depends on your
Pornhub
definition
is
of
the-
porn.
is
Have
the
you heard
12th
what they're making kids read these days?
It's facts.
I don't believe
yeah,
that
that's
a lot of that
It's
stuff should be
approved,
even in the
yeah,
classroom
right.
either. So I mean,
That's wild.
there's questionable stuff. Is what happens when liberals start teaching your kids.
Yeah, I didn't know
too
anything
liberal
about
at some
this.
points. I think
Right.
way too liberal.
It's pretty crazy. Come on to Oklahoma City, 1520 on the dot. Go KOMA. Oh, dude.
Chuck Danger, what
Good
up?
old KOMA, man.
What's up?
That's pretty wild. Yeah, according to them, they said that according to the studies of from last year, Pornhub was the 12th most visited site in the United States.
12th.
12th.
Wow. What was the first?
And
I don't know.
what's
They
funny though,
don't
is that
list
Maybe the
any of the
rest?
others.
Oh, come on,
really
man.
Just the
catching
12.
you're catching any
12.
person, any young person going through puberty all the way to
That's
an
wild.
adult.
With a
Because
felony.
Pause, man.
unless it's like a couple of states now that have gone after Pornhub, and Pornhub's like, fine, we just won't offer it in your state. Because they didn't want to put any restrictions to people walking into the site.
Yeah, why would
Right.
they?
Which would mean that you are now allowing a
Oh, for sure,
potential
Chuck Danger.
12-year-old to be going onto that website. And from that one little aspect,
Never
I
visited the
agree
hub, but
with
some
that
of the
one
ads I get.
spot in the
Yeah.
argument that it should not be readily available to a child. But I also believe that if they want to have it to where, they want to make it available
That's crazy.
to any adult, I have no problem with that. How you get to a point where you can wall off properly without giving up personal identity, that one I'm not sure how they would do.
Well, also, let's think about the age of adult when it comes to that kind of content.
I think if you're if you're
21
able to
now.
bleed for your country, whatever.
Well,
That's my stance on alcohol.
they moved.
Yes,
they
100%.
moved tobacco.
That and owning
In
a
my state, it's
firearm
21.
too. Because there are certain states that will not allow you to own a firearm until you're 21.
The fact.
You can get a rifle or a shotgun though. When you're like 18, I think.
Yeah, you can get a rifle at like
Yeah.
you can get a rifle at like 16.
Yeah.
12 if you are getting it for like hunting purposes. Like here, like specifically if you have like
Or competitions, like actual shooting competitions.
and for hunting purposes, like you can have one at like 12.
I wonder what a background check's going to come with.
I know in Crooked Noise here,
Broken noise.
that they don't allow children to have firearms legally.
No.
No.
It's an FA announcement time, says Will Crypto. I agree. Let's see a bunch of FAs in the chat.
Out freaking standing. Let's get some FAs in there and we'll make
Everybody
it
look here.
happen.
We kill Barf.
Oof.
Michaela's going to barf.
Get on the barf
Keep
train,
that up.
guys. Go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look.
We got 2 FAs. 3.
Gotta put some helicopters
Oh
on there.
God! Oh God! $100 bills. Oh
Yeah.
God! I'm gonna be so sick. Oh,
Printer go
get on
burr.
zero. Get on zero.
Printer go burr.
Get on zero.
Oh, it will, baby.
We're trying to unbank the banked.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday. Welcome to DCA Adventure, where we're rated F for fucking awesome.
Giggity,
right.
buddy.
That your buddy back there must have
Growing.
waited too long for the FA announcement. He died.
Oh no, he did.
No,
My
he was
coworker-
waiting for the dip.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of dip, Mikhail, you got to share.
What?
Well,
You were a
that's if he
billionaire for
wants
5
to.
minutes.
That's
Oh, yeah?
if he wants to share. You know.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna
Don't need
share
to.
it, but
You don't have to. Don't worry about it.
You don't have to tell us what it was, but just
it
the
was wild.
story of the emotions. Like what happened?
Oh,
You're
you're trying to prod out of him, and he doesn't
I
want to
know,
talk
man.
about it. Stop.
I know, man.
He doesn't have to talk about it.
It's all right.
Nice.
I made a bunch of coins,
Right.
and I may or may not have been like a billionaire for like 5 minutes this morning, and it was pretty wild.
Glitch
It was a
move.
wild experience.
Glitch move.
I'm not a billionaire for anyone that's kind of curious.
Well, you know.
It'd be a different.
Mikhail, if it
You'd
ever
be
does
catching. You'd be catching me from like live from like
He was a
You know, like-
Bitcoin billionaire.
If it does,
Like
if it
from
does
like a
ever happen,
Lambo or
just send me a
something,
plane
you know?
ticket. You know, send me a
know?
plane ticket. I'll come
Facts.
help you. I
Welcome
mean,
to Lambo
yeah.
Lounge. Welcome to Lambo Lounge.
It was wild, man. It was wild.
come on.
Was that the craziest roller coaster
Wild
ride ever?
experience.
What?
Yeah. If that's what a heart attack feels like, then I don't know. Well, I don't know that I like it.
That moment you
Heart
feel
attack?
alive.
Man, like it was wild. It was a wild experience.
We all wish
Wild
it would have happened
experience.
for you.
Hey, man, me too.
I know.
Me too.
We all, out of all of us, you know, we should all just hit it
Hey,
back.
man. Sometimes you just, I guess, gotta be faster than bots, and I gotta figure out how to cheat the system. I guess
Truth. Maybe faster
somehow
than
I gotta figure out how to cheat the system. It's just kind of the way it is. Apparently, is what it is.
I mean, they always say cheaters never prosper. Maybe just they do prosper, but you know, you want to be a cheater.
Man, I had the displeasure of working on a truck today that I really wish I didn't have to work on.
Was it a Ford?
What brand was it?
You know you
No.
enjoyed it.
What brand was it?
Half enjoyed it. All right, only half.
Yeah, you still enjoyed it.
It was a 1985 Chevy C30 Suburban
Oh, I thought
Oh,
dually
you.
with the hydro boost on it.
Ooh.
Running to Detroit, or
No.
running
It was running a 454 big block,
like usually 450 core.
and
But sometimes you get lucky and they have the
what's
Detroit in it.
what's really unique about it is whenever I went to go put the lug nuts on, I didn't realize what I was looking at until I put the lug, because somebody else took it apart. They only work like 1 day a week, so he diagnosed all this stuff. I was doing all the work to it, so I'm putting the lug nuts back on. I'm like, hey, I didn't grab the rail for this one. This one's a little bigger than what I've got. I'm like, wow, it's not a 22. So I go through some of mine. I'm like, 24, it's too big. I'm like, what's the fucking odds? So I pull out my standard rail. It slips into the 1 inch.
Yeah. Wow.
The only people that I know that used 1 inch lug nuts was the military.
Yeah. Like some big ass like.
So
diesel
I'm
truck.
like putting this thing together and fire it up. I hit the brakes and I'm like, oh no.
What were they?
This
were-
is manly brakes.
Yeah.
Oh, with a hydro boost, it's still manly. Oh my lord.
Running drum brakes, like you're saying.
It's got drum brakes in the back, had disc in the front,
Yep.
so
and
hold
it
on.
had some
My
of the,
Chevy
it had
was
the,
like
the
that.
disc, the shoes in the back were 3 inches wide.
Yeah.
These things were
Dude, I hate
huge.
drum brakes.
It had a full floating rear end in there. So
Hate
it
drum brakes.
had
they're
the
the worst. They're the
heavy-duty-
pain in the ass to change.
So in order to pull the drum off, right? There's 8 bolts that unbolts the actual drive shaft out of the axle. You got to pull that out, and then inside there's a couple of retaining giant retaining nuts in there that keep the wheel and the bearing section all together on the spindle of the axle housing. Pull this thing off. This thing has to weigh every bit of like 80 to 90 fucking pounds.
Not light.
Oh no. And like I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, I don't see how I can And so I walked over to someone. And I'm like,
Like waving
do I
somebody
gotta
down.
actually pound these lug nuts, these studs through? That's what's holding this thing together? And they were like, yeah. I'm like, oh hell no! So I have to grab my air hammer. Yeah, this thing was just like a big old nightmare of a job. Absolutely sucked. So I go to take it for a test drive afterwards. Back up, I hit the brakes. I got the world's most firm brake pedal. I've never felt the brake pedal so fucking firm in my life.
Too firm.
I hit it goes back. I hit it. Like I got to put a little force into it, and I feel the back brakes lock up. I'm like, well, wow. I'm like, there's got to be something like they're like the fronts didn't feel like they were grabbing properly. Like I had all back brakes.
Yeah. That's
I go and take
scary.
it. I go and take it out. I mean, like I go to hit it, and like you can feel the whole front end ducking down. So I'm like, okay, like the fronts are hitting. So I mean, it's got front brakes. So I take it out for a test drive, and I'm like, holy cow, this thing. That thing was insane with how much brake force I had to press down. I was like, wow. I knew that like military versions, like back in the day, they were a very manly vehicle. This was one of them.
You brake like you mean it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was able to brake. I was confident. Whenever it came in, like, I'm like, why are we changing out the hydro boost on it? And I'm like, I had gotten a master cylinder. I was doing the back brakes on it, and I had it down. And one of the other techs, like, he like grabs the booster. He's like, oh, you're replacing this, and he pushed it. I was like, do that again, and he pushed it. And I'm like, I grab it, and I'm like, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, oh wow, that's why we're replacing stuff. Well, there's actually a big bolt that's behind it, like a big nut that clamps it onto the bracket, and that somebody didn't pound that on the right way.
You got to pound it good, man. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yep, exactly.
You got to pound it. You got to pound it. Right.
I sat there with a chisel and a hammer, and I
gave
it a good
you know
whack.
Yeah.
And it respected my authority. But yeah, that thing was like
that's how you have to do it, man.
That thing was a nightmare. I had to like transfer so much stuff off of the old hydro boost onto the new hydro boost. I'm like, man, I've never done this stuff before. Like I've worked on old stuff, but not military versions.
That's some blasphemous piece of crap.
Right?
A lot of it is.
I'm like looking at the motor, and I'm like, hot rod guy. I'm drooling over the motor. It's a 454 big block.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
You see what it's attached
Americana horsepower.
See what it's attached to, and your boner shrinks a little bit. You're like, oh.
That's less exciting.
Yeah. Oh,
pretty engine. Oh, not so cool car.
yeah.
It's like as soon as I like looked at the valve covers, I'm like, oh, I know what that is.
You're like,
I've got those valve covers in my garage right now.
Yeah.
I may or may not have a 454 big block sitting on a shelf right now.
Ooh, do you now?
What are you planning on putting that in?
Did you steal it from work?
No. It came out of a 78 Chevy 3500.
Came out of a customer's car. I mean, a free donor car.
That's what
the guy that I bought it off of.
Good deals.
He purchased it from a person who their vehicle got scrapped because it got into a bad accident, and he was going to use it as a spare motor for one of his wreckers. And I was like, I can use that motor.
Give it to me.
I've got a 1985 Z28.
Ooh.
I mean, no,
love
not
that.
85. 84. I'm sorry. 84 Z28.
Put that bolt right in on the stock mounts.
Real Z28.
Real Z28?
Yes, it's a real.
454
it's-
Z28.
Not one of those fake ones like a kit car.
Yeah. Where you get a guy who's he gets a Camaro. It's just a regular IROC. It's not a Z28 IROC. My VIN, I still have the VIN on there and everything. It's still got the original firewall. But somebody had originally modified the front cross member that goes underneath the motor to go a little bit further to the ground.
Oh.
So you can put things that are much larger and lower into the cradle.
Oh, very nice. Accommodation.
Engine
is
go
key.
fast.
Oh yeah. I have been told that chassis.
Bro, I
at
seen
one
someone
point
swapped,
time saw like 7.5 seconds.
Really? Well,
Yes.
that's like
Whenever
a blink.
I
the
saw
other
it
day,
in
if
its
someone
former
shoved a
gl-
Bara into an RX-8, there was no room to spare, like, at all. But the fact there was like a Bara inside there, dude, it sounded so mean. Just like it was like, you ever line me something like that, like you'd be terrified. Those
Yeah.
things sound so mean. Like it sounds like a freaking F1 car, just like a
Oh,
rap,
yeah.
and you're just like,
Turbo
the
road
fuck
reseal
is
too.
that?
See, I found a small
shit.
reasoning on their on
I would
on
want
the
to live in
Formula
Australia
One
just for that engine.
harmonics. And it's actually a cool concept of what makes a Formula One car have that special note that when you hear it, you're like, that's a Formula One car, and you know it. You can tell what part of their throttle range they're in. If they're on a hard acceleration, deceleration, just mid-gassing it and coasting.
He's approximately 43% throttle.
Right. You're pretty close on usually when you're hearing it. And
Approximately
I
really
found
fucking
out
fast.
that it's all because they're
Yo, geek of
they're-
all trades, what's up, dude?
What up?
it's their exhaust. It's all it is. They have
Yeah, it's all
a
the exhaust.
4-into-1 collector.
What do we want? Race car noises. When do we want them?
Meow.
Yeah.
Meow, meow. Meow.
So who was it?
Meow, meow.
KSR Fabrications did a burnout car for Cletus and Cars, and they had an LS with an 8-to-1 collector.
Ooh, really?
Dude, it was fucking
Single
the pi-
tube coming off of each cylinder? into
Oh my
one?
god, dude, it was everything, an 8-to-1
like a-
collector all into one. It had the craziest
You
fucking
get some good
sound.
boost from that, don't you?
Huh?
You get really good boost from that, don't you?
No, you just had it all naturally. It was just on a burnout car.
No, but I mean, like, some do 4 to 2 to 1 or 8 to 4 to 1, but to do it.
I prefer the
8 to
Brad
1,
Brad.
like,
Hey man, rotaries are where
each
it's
cylinder
at, man.
pathway right into the dump. I don't know. I figure you'd get a lot of more lower end
I've
torque.
owned quite a few rotaries in my life. RX-8s,
You know, I
RX-7.
as much as I love the RX-7s, if the motors were just a little bit more reliable, I would be fully on board with doing a full out build on them.
You would have to do like an FD or like build
know, it's just
the engines are from the FDs or like a REW build. REWs are super reliable.
It's usually like a coolant leak that screws those motors over, doesn't it?
Yeah, like the stock. It's the stock shit. The stock
Yeah.
seals
It's
fail.
all the stock seals on there.
Yeah.
Fucking
Mazda Zoom
and
boot.
then you get like the
If I was
oiling
almost a billionaire,
issues.
I would have a 4-rotor RX-8.
Built up
Like,
4-rotor. Yeah.
I would have an all day 4-rotor RX-8.
I thought the 4 rotors don't fit very well in those.
Oh, they fit.
Oh,
Oh, they fit.
in there.
They fit.
Because like I saw people taking I remember back in the day they would take the RX-8 motors and put them into the RX-7 as a 4-rotor.
Well, no.
No.
Yeah, you can't really do it like that. But because
We're
it's
doing
custom
that shit out
shafts.
here, bro.
You need custom shafts and shit like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're talking fabrication shops.
Yeah,
out
that
here.
Buddy
point,
mine,
you're just gonna
buddy
build
mine has
everything.
he has a 4-rotor. It's pretty cool. He's still gathering parts because it takes forever. Because it's all once you get into that, like some of the stuff is custom.
It's all
Some
one.
things are
I like
usable,
what's
but
his name
a lot of the
with,
stuff's custom.
with that 12 rotor. Oh, that
The
thing.
one he's working on right now, like the
Oh,
boat
yeah.
engine.
Yeah,
Mm.
Rob.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's pretty nice.
It was
Pretty
like
nice,
a boat
man.
motor or something like that originally.
Yeah.
Something.
I don't know. I enjoyed my RX-7. It was really fun to drive.
Was it stick?
But I really enjoyed my RX-7 was stick. My RX-8 I owned a stick and a manual, or like and it's like automatic.
Auto
But
stick. Yeah.
their autos are like have the option to be manual, right? You can put it into manual mode and you can paddle shift them and this crazy stuff. But I much rather I like driving my RX-8 more than my 7. Like just the way it drove,
Power delivery or like handling?
like
or-
just the handling, like overall, like the way it felt.
yeah.
It was more just
Manual
like
or-
balanced
Like, you
out.
could tell it was the new gen.
Either one of my RX-8s, they both felt like amazing. Like I really didn't never mind driving the
That's
manual
how I felt
versus
my
the
Toyota
automatic.
Supra. My Toyota Supra.
Like
I
they
felt
they
the
were
same
nice
way.
regardless.
Supra.
Oh
Mm.
my god, yeah.
Mm.
The Toyota. It was the 90s. It was the early 98 model.
I have
So
to
it was
ignore
still- it was
all
still a
RX-8s
90 it was like basically
on my
a
Facebook
97.
Marketplace. I see them come up all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah. OBD2 yucky though.
I love that. That Supra was amazing. And like all the parts that I was getting back at that time were all being imported in. So like they were like it took me forever to get an upgrade. And they costed like a lot of money for back then. I mean, I made good money back then, so I mean, it wasn't so bad.
The
but
90s
still.
was a great time, man. People forget.
Oh yeah, and like I put in some serious cash into that car, man. It had a full cage in there.
You still got the registration info, like the VIN number. Like, I mean, you could VIN
Like
wiki
total
that shit if you
build,
still
like
got
70, 80.
Oh no, I've got over the years. Like I went through rough times at shortly after that.
it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you could find it.
No, I know who I sold it to.
Oh, they still got it.
I'm not sure if they still got it. I haven't talked to them in a long time. If they've still, they would more than likely still have it. Otherwise, they would have crashed
thanks.
Either in the
Freaking
garage
thanks,
or it's
Golden.
in the graveyard.
They're a geek of all trades.
I don't know, man. Those Supras were hella fast.
Still
All
on.
right. Oh, I need to be getting out of here. My kids are waiting on me.
Oh,
Supposed to be playing
is
a
that
game
time.
of
All right.
Settlers of
time to sign
Catan.
off.
So I
It
gotta
is that
go.
time. It is.
I gotta go
that.
be unrelentless and whoop some ass because
Yeah.
I don't
tell those
lose.
kids.
Before you go, real quick, what's happening tomorrow? 30 seconds, go.
So tomorrow morning I'll be going live 9 o'clock in the morning, full standard time for Good Morning Miners. And then of course after that we will have our boy Serpent going live. After that you got our boy Panda going live, and then you got Rabbit going live, and then maybe I think Geek goes live too after that.
So
If
many
I'm not
lives.
mistaken.
So little time.
I probably won't be around tomorrow night because it's my my eldest daughter's birthday party, so I probably won't be around.
Oh, you
We
gotta
can
give
forgive
her
you for
hugs
that.
for me.
Hugs from
Oh,
all of
for
us.
sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, just another fucking preteen, man.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Uh-oh.
No. You're old. It's
Yeah.
happening. It's
Yeah.
happening right before
I
your
guess,
eyes.
man.
Happening, crapping.
Terrible.
Next thing you know,
It's
you're gonna get a
terrible.
haircut, and you're like, "Where'd that gray come from?"
Yeah.
Bro, I already got
Roasted.
gray hair. I see it already.
Well,
It's
if you
there.
shave it off,
It's there. It's there and present. I just accept it at this point.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
there's no going backsies on that. You know what I mean?
See,
Makes
I
you
I
feel
didn't
better.
go
I just
gray
didn't go
right
for
off
it.
the bat. You see, everything went
Just now?
like super
Yes.
blonde. It like went to
Oh.
this super blonde color. I'm like, Everybody's like, you going gray? And I'm like, no, I don't know. For some reason, it's like all super blonde, and then like a couple of years later, it's gray.
Yeah,
I'm like, son of a
boo,
bitch.
Foiled again.
All right. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, one final announcement before you wrap up. To all you sexy motherfuckers, DCA Adventure is rated F for fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, brother. And with that being said, everybody, thank you all for being here. All that good stuff. Smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you're new here, check out the links down below. Join the Discord. It is free, guys. If you guys want to join the Patreon, we also got links down below. If you want to join in, get one of these awesome wrenches, get some behind the scenes knowledge.
Speaking of behind the scenes knowledge, Patreon's coming up Sunday.
Yeah, Patreon is a Sunday. And believe me, all Patreons, please be present for this call. It's very important.
Very important.
Super important.
Super important.
Big
I don't even know what it
changes
is.
on the horizon.
Guys.
Don't miss it.
The earth is flat. That's right, Nicholas Pitts.
Yes, the earth was always flat.
It's oblique.
Oblique.
How do they say?
It's bleak. Yeah, it's pretty bleak out here. Yeah.
It is pretty bleak. You are correct.
Have an
Right?
awesome rest of your Friday,
According
guys.
to every map on
Thanks.
the planet, it is flat.
Yeah.
And if you put a level on it, it is level.
And on that note, peace out,
deal with
guys.
the 2D.
See ya.
Yeah, peace out, stay savage, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace out, guys.